Let's talk about your last year, man. It was kind of an up and down year for you, right? The 2-1 record, but a close fight there that you lost. I mean, give me an idea of kind of when you summarize and look back, how it went for you.
Well, I think one of the positives in regards to loving what I do. Didn't get injured in any way, shape, or form. The only two losses that I have in any capacity are top 10 fighters at this point. So, and arguably with Brad Tavares is, a little bit of home cooking, if anything. When you look at the scoreboards in regards to, I beat him 3-1 in wrestling. I beat him, by a minute in control time and outstruck him 2-1. More so, one of the cool facts now, having 8 fights in the UFC, I've never been outstruck. And 6 out of those 8 fights, I've actually doubled my opponent's output rate. So, a lot of it is kind of, I don't really necessarily see myself as a UFC fighter. I see myself as Elias. And one of the kind of cool things that I'm kind of understanding is, I guess, my potential in that regard. Because even when I've lost, it was close fights. And, it really just depended on what the judge was seeing at the time. And in many ways, the fact that I've only been training in any capacity of martial arts with no priors in regards to, no conviction priors either. But what I mean in regards to martial arts, I didn't start, or I didn't show up at a gym until about 2021. And happy to say that I'll be celebrating my 30th birthday after this 18th professional fight and 16th professional win. So, it could always be worse. In both times, you could see the difference in regards to what a loss could look like, whether it's 40 stitches in your face or, just kind of a little bum hurt. But, again, another positive of what I've been able to do in regards to sponsorships and other endorsements, I make just as much as I do with endorsements as I do as a professional fighter. So I don't have to worry about only receiving half my pay, and with a loss. So, even though I lost to Brad Tavares, I still walk away with a 6-figure contract for my hair.
Well, I was going to ask, that's what to me is interesting, right? You did have the loss, so it's not like you're at the top of the division right now. You've had some decisions. I'm sure you'd like to get finishes.
Sure.
But, with all that said, I feel like your popularity is sky high, you know what I mean? And for you to say, I don't look at myself just as a UFC fighter, I look at myself as Elias. I just kind of wonder, what's the key? What is it that you get, that you understand, that you've been so successful that maybe, the sea of fighters that they're trying to stand out hasn't been able to do?
Yeah, well, I have a degree in advertising, so I'm obviously advertising the brand that is myself. And you forgot the official ring boy for Invicta. Actually own the trademark for that as well. And plan to make a calendar. I'm going to approach other UFC fighters, and who wouldn't love to see a Derek Lewis for Mr. July? And then again, there'll be revenue sharing in regards to it. It's really cool in regards to how that's all going to work out. And I got another announcement in the next little bit that's probably going to be larger than everything ever before. And again, I'll be a little cryptic for now, but I'm going to make an announcement that kind of puts it all together. There's a method to my madness.
Well, see, I wanted to ask you about the Invicta stuff, because it's, at first I think some people thought like gimmick or whatever, but it seems like you're taking it kind of serious, at least as part of your career, part of your business, so to speak. Do you ever worry that people won't take you seriously as a fighter, or won't say, that think you're just, again, out there just trying to have a gimmick or something?
Well, everyone's trying to have a gimmick in some capacity. Again, with 500 fighters on a roster, you want to stand out in some way. And the main event, MANE, own the trademark for that too. And Mr. Ringboy, there's many different options. Again, in our sport, there's a need to, diversify yourself in some ways. And some people, personal train. I look at my personal brand. And again, I also have a opportunity to also put my sponsorships on my actual outfit as a ring boy. So I'm the only UFC fighter with his actual sponsors back. Again, there's a method to my madness, and long game. It's chess, not checkers. And really excited for the next announcement that's actually going to tie it all together.
Well, I was going to ask you, so, being that you're passionate about this side of it, are you ever wanting to maybe help other people? Do you see yourself maybe being, whether it be, a manager or a representative, something like that, helping other fighters do this, after your career is over, or even maybe while you're still fighting?
Yeah, no, definitely after. Same reason why I don't, teach martial arts myself. In many ways, I still feel the idea that those that can't do teach. But again, it's definitely something I would I'm obviously looking forward to. And again, having fun the entire way and never really sustaining any injuries. Have 18 fights in the short amount of time that I've had, and who knows, I could have 18 more. And again, putting myself in a place that probably by the end of this year, I will only have to fight because I want to, because I love it. And I get to travel around the world. I'm here in Liverpool, and the missus and I have a one-way ticket, and we're just going to go, Stonehenge after my fight. Then we're going to go to London for a couple of days. Take off to Paris and Versailles, celebrate my 30th birthday there, then go to Amsterdam for a couple days, and then go off to Belgium, and then hop off to Iceland on the way back.
Very cool. We'll talk about the fight specifically.
Yes, yeah.
But the last thing I want to ask you, so the calendar, I'd heard you mention that before. You're serious about that?
Yeah.
Not just a joke, you're going to do it?
No, 110%. What's called the economics makes total sense too. Again, finding out the underpinnings of all that. And in addition, I also have a movie. It's called Last Hit. I'm the lead and a producer of it. I play an MMA fighter, huge stretch, who gets injured, and I reinvent myself with competitive video games. Basically, it's a conversation about what happens after athletics. Many different fighters' whole identity is a fighter, and what happens if that's taken away from you. It is a comedy, so it's going to be hilarious. We already have a script. We have myself, and we have a very accomplished director attached to it already. His name's Gary Haas. He's been the assistant director to movies like Juno, Interstellar, all the new Planet of the Apes movie, all the new X-Men movies as well. I think collectively he's grossed as an assistant director about $3-4 billion. And with that, again, there's an opportunity for me to jump right into esports, because it is the first esports specific movie rather. And it's a hilarious movie. The script's amazing, and we have actually some really big actors that are already interested in it, and we're going to be approaching. It's a really cool aspect that I get to learn. You talked about management, but in regards to being a producer, I get to understand how to put together a movie. So it's really cool understanding something and learning something, from the outside in.
So you've got all these interests and all these things going on, and it sounds like it's exciting for you and good for you. Now you got to get ready for a cage fight, right?
Yeah.
So let me ask. Is it difficult? We know all that goes into the physical sacrifice, the mental sacrifice, everything you have to do to get ready for a fight. When you got all these other things going on, is it tough to give that 100%, to know that you're peaking at the right time and you're ready for a fight?
Well, one of the beauties of being ring boy ready, you're already in shape. Again, the other aspect to it, it's all fun. In many ways, this is all, again, it's not me worrying about personal training. It's not me worrying about other side of work. It's all building in regards to me. And there's 24 hours in a day, and you can still train 4 hours in a day with ease and take a nap, because I'm a grown man that takes a nap every single day, and, having a blast. In many ways, I'm enjoying the journey, as you can tell, and I don't really think it's a distraction at all. Part of the importance, obviously, is just kind of doing me on game day. I obviously have a different style, and it's just about implementing it on game day.
All right, let's talk about Trevor Smith. Big guy, been around a long time, been on fighting the big shows for a while. Break him down. What do you see in him?
Well, he's a grinder. Like you said, he's a tough individual. He has many fights, and in many ways, even his losses are against top contenders, but we know what his path to victory is. He wants to, in many ways, take me down and smother me and try and get, a submission. He's got some sick jiu-jitsu, and obviously being a collegiate wrestler or a D1 wrestler or whatever the technical term is. But his name's the hot sauce, but I put that shit on everything already.
Very nice. I mean, do you think about what wins and losses do? I mean, you said the paycheck doesn't matter. If it's half, it's okay. You'll survive. But, I mean, do you think about positional rankings and what comes next and all? I mean, are you focused on that kind of stuff?
For sure. Obviously, this is the second time I've reached the top 15. The last time was just entering into with Brad Tavares. So obviously I want to stay there this time. And there's definitely a couple of people that I really want to fight. Like I said, in many ways, I don't have the wear and tear that other fighters do. So I've kind of established myself in a place where I can go to wars now. I'm saving all those chips for when it really matters.
You've got plenty of 3-round fights under your belt. There's no question about that. And everybody likes to get the finish. But, I mean, when you see this one playing out, how do you see it going? Because, as you said, Trevor is a grinder, right? You got to be ready for 15 minutes. Do you feel like you have to be prepared for that, or do you feel like you can go in there and get something done?
No, I definitely feel like I can get something done. I think, like I mentioned earlier, my cardio is on a next level, and I think I can really break them after the first and second, and if it goes into the third. I'm definitely looking for finish, but obviously, getting your hand raised is the most important thing.
Do you ever want to be known as a UFC fighter, or do you want to make sure that that's not, do you want to think of yourself as just a UFC fighter, or do you want to make sure that's not, just your whole identity?
Well, I don't look at it as a negative thing either way. Again, there are some people that obviously that is their everything, and rightfully so, and they should be proud of it, and I'm proud of being a UFC fighter. I am first and foremost a UFC fighter and the first Canadian Ultimate Fighter winner.